tour. I'm here with Koby, and Koby, tell the viewers that's tuning in right now, that's watching this, a little bit about yourself and your relationship to Leon Benson. Leon Benson is a friend of mine. He's been in prison for 21 years for something he hasn't done. In the state of Indiana knows he hasn't done this. You know, I was actually did time with Leon Benson. I did 18 years myself, and came across him in there and formed a relationship with Leon, and started to learn about his story, read up on his case and stuff like that. And it surprised me how in America so many of our black men is being sent away to prison when these criminal injustice system, and it's an injustice system because it's a lot of black men and women in prison for stuff they ain't done. How can this continually habitually happen to our young men, and nobody is held accountable? So this little interview I'm doing with his daughter is gonna highlight some of the aspects of his case a little bit, but also the human side of who Leon is, because this goes beyond just him being in prison. This actually affects kids, family members, children. You dig what I'm saying, when these type of situations happen. So could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Koby. I'm Leon Benson's daughter. My pops has still been active in my life throughout his whole sentence. But he got locked up when I was, I believe, 3 years old. He has taught me how to be left-handed. I was right-handed when I first started to write. My mama told me how to be right-handed, and he taught me how to be left-handed. He kind of developed my creativity. So I'm very creative. Like, he's like a philosopher. He writes books, like he does poems. Like, the man is like dope, but he's also in prison. And I feel like a lot of kids are growing up without their fathers, and I know there's things that contribute to that. Well, people who are living without their fathers for reasons that don't make sense, especially being someone who has been falsely convicted, not wrongfully, falsely. And my pops has always told me, when I tell his story, is to say that he has been falsely convicted, not wrongly convicted, because wrongly means you have been wrongly done by the constitutionally. So that means by constitutional reasons you are not innocent, but he's falsely, which means he has no involvement in this crime. And so, you know, so that's that on that. But as far as him as a human being, you know what I'm saying, he's not even from here. He's originally from Clinton, Michigan. He met my mom, Cassandra, and they used to rap together. My mom, her name was Rapping Sam, and they went way back. And before he went into prison, he had my brother Leon, little Leon Bluitt, and he's actually in jail right now, but he's supposed to come home sometime soon. But yeah, like, yes.
So can you how many brothers and sisters do you have? And I know some of them are biological, but he always treated y'all all like his children.
Yeah. So it was, you know, Keandra, my older sister.
Okay.
And she's like, Keandra's almost 30 now. And Keandra knew him from all the years that my mama knew him, she knew him. So she's been around. He's always claimed her too. And then Leon and myself. So 3 of us.
Right.
And like I said, it's only one of my mama's children that's really his, which is Leon.
Right.
But he claimed all of us.
Right.
Because I didn't have my dad growing up or whatever. But he stepped in and said, I will take care of her. Right. You know, don't worry about it. You know, I never had a daddy. So Leon Benson, my pops, he never knew his father. Right. His father, I believe, was on drugs. I don't know what happened to him, but he never met his biological father. Right. So it was no problem for him to step up and be a father. So,
yeah, and that's big because, you know, a lot of people talk about how black fathers are out here ain't taking care of their kids and stuff. But he stepped in a situation where he took on the whole family. And he said, I will be responsible for this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's big because a lot of people have to understand, like, when they take our men away from us in our community, when they are actually being role models and father figures, how that affects their children when they leave and how it affects their household. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what? So you was 3 years old.
Yes.
And then y'all went to prison.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you remember? What year this was?
So okay. So actually, he got locked up. He got sentenced in '99.
Okay.
But he got locked up and got taken into custody in '98, and I was born in '96. so I would say I was 2 years old.
Okay.
But I believe it was August of 1998.
Yeah.
Yep, of when he got taken into custody, and he hasn't been out since. But he was sentenced, I believe, July of '99, if I'm not mistaken. So
right.
he's been gone for a long time.
So what since Keandra had a relationship with him when he was out here, and she was a lot older, has she ever described like how Leon was?
Yeah, I mean, like, he's always been like very he has always had a big vocabulary. Like, to have a conversation with him, you might get lost in his words because he has a very big vocabulary. He's very intelligent, has always written like spoken word poems, books and stuff. So he taught Keandra a lot as far as like vocabulary, because she didn't have her dad a little bit during her life, and so he stepped up with her. And it's crazy because my little brother, he was born in '97. Leon is the actual son, biologically, but we was his girls. And so, like, you know, he was running around with Keandra. I'm not for sure how old she was. We were 8 years apart. Keandra was probably 10 when he got locked up. And you know, still to this day, he even talks to her kids, Kamaya and Deshaun. They know him. Once again, not biological. Like, this man got hard. You know what I'm saying? He got hard, and he, I feel like all these years, like, he left a family that wasn't even his, but he still been there every birthday, every Christmas, every Valentine's Day, sending me a card, my brother, Keandra, like, you know, tells us that he loves us, and he's not quitting this fight.
Yeah, and it's crazy that you like. I had to come out here and meet you and Keandra to even find out that y'all weren't biologically his. You know what I mean? Because when I was in prison with him, he'd talk about his kids. He'd talk about Koby, and I knew who you are before I even met you. I saw different pictures that in his prison book that he had, his photo album, and I went through there, and they used to talk about y'all all the time. And I remember how he used to even talk about how it hurt him a lot because he felt like he wasn't there to guide y'all like he wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, he used to tell me a lot of times how he used to try to get y'all reading different books and stuff like that. But, you know, we young, we don't even think about all that stuff at that time. We just trying to find our own identity, our own self. So for him, it was kind of a struggle in there because he felt like he couldn't be right there on the ground, presence, and being an example in your life and stuff.
Right. So I feel like with the prison system, it's like the out of sight, out of mind. You know, and like, he was out of our sight, though he used to write us, you know, always in communication with us, but, you know, you get busy in your own lives, and I feel like that's kind of what we was doing. You know, Mommy was busy with her own life and her own relationships, but when you know, trying to sustain us and be a mama and daddy. And so, you know, I know from me personally, like, you know, it's been a journey for all of us. You know, Keandra and her biological father and me with mine, you know, I had to realize, regardless, I'm not turning my back on my pops, you know, regardless if he's biological or not. So,
that's what's up.
You know, I made that decision when I got old enough to understand that this is what I want, and this is why I'm here now. And then also, yeah, like I said, him just not being there physically, like, I can understand he was in pain. Because he used to send us books. He used to send us T-shirts to rep his campaign, give us ways to make money. Like, you talk about fathers not being there physically for their children. Like, he was there physically and, like, spiritually, vibrationally, just by sending his words of encouragement. But, you know, yeah.
So your brother, he ended up going to prison.
Yes.
Can you explain like how that affected his father? Like, I'm pretty sure for him being in prison, like I said, him not being on the ground and being able to be a guiding factor. We used to talk about being there, being a father to his son, and so his son don't ever get caught up in the streets or even glorify street life and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How did that affect your family? Do you think, from your own perspective, with Leon being gone away and his son eventually end up in the same situation?
I think it was my pop's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I think it was nothing that he could prepare himself for. And I think he, you know, I'm sure he was in there for real, like, going through the blues, knowing that he could not be that different direction for Leon. You know, like, because my mama struggled, and, and because he wasn't able to be a part of Leon's, upbringing as far as raising him as a man physically. Because Leon didn't have a lot of examples around. And so I think that was his worst nightmare. And then now seeing his boy in there, from the jump, they couldn't even write each other because they're too, I believe that you can't cross-write in prison. I don't know how that works, but we had to see how we could get them to be able to write each other because that's his son, and they wasn't even going for that. So more limitations, right? And then just knowing that his son is in prison and he know what goes down in prison, like that was devastating. And I think for Leon, but with that bill with them too, Leon has seen, what the other side is like. Now he never wants to be on this. So when he come home, we fighting this to the end for my pops. You know what I'm saying? Because he now know what that mess is. You know what that mess is, right? But like my pops, like he never wants to see that. Like
he won a lawsuit around that time.
Yeah, he won a lawsuit. And then also he has a little campaign fees doing my auntie Val. You know what I'm saying? She got things running out here as far as making money for him. But he took all his money to get my brother a lawyer. So my pops still did what he could with what he had. But I think that was his worst nightmare. Period.
Just in closing and stuff, could you speak a little bit about this case? Like, what made you realize your father was innocent and that you want to be out here campaigning and trying to get him out of prison and exonerate his name?
So, I've always heard this, right? Like growing up, he was innocent, but I never really read into nothing for myself. I just believe off the fact this is my pops, this is my pop, this is my daddy. Like I'm a believer regardless. But when I start to really read his website and everything, see people who support him around the country who used to write us and be like, hey, we actually know about your father's case. We just want to reach out to you, make sure you're okay. You just send us gifts. He had like little pen pals around the country that used to reach out to us. So it was like, okay, like we really believe in him outside of just us. But honestly, he wasn't even convicted off of DNA. It was literally off of false eyewitness identification and perjury.
Speaking about that identification, when I was in prison, when I was reading his case and stuff for myself, they said that the person that committed the murder was a tall, dark-skinned guy.
Male, yeah.
Can you explain how this is totally opposite?
It's totally opposite. So the lady who did it, Christy Schmidt, she made us an original, when they got her original testimony, she said that she seen a dark-skinned male who was tall, and she seen him, but she was about 50 yards away from the crime scene.
And she wears glasses like this thick?
Yes.
Okay.
Literally, and then she said the lights were illuminated. She wasn't even in a really good range of sight. And my pops had actually done essays about eyewitness statements. What also had me going, that it might be false, is that the Innocence Project.
And let's interject this. So the suspect that this eyewitness said was a tall, dark-skinned male. Leon is a light-skinned, short male.
Yeah, like not even right. And then the other dude. But she changed her testimony when they got into court. Okay, she changed her testimony to a dark skin. No, she changed it to a light skin male to match the profile of Leon.
Oh, wow.
So when they actually got into court, when it was time for her to testify on the stand, she changed her testimony. Bogus of what she actually said. And then the other male who said that he seen my pops on the scene, he wasn't even there on the scene. He was actually violating his parole. But how he was able to make a deal with the police is if they was like, do you know who may have done it? And he told them my pops because he had some ill feelings because of things happened back on the street. Right. So the way that they pin him on this, literally, it's crazy. But that's all another story for another day. Right. But I feel like we just need to become more involved with what's around us because this is not a unique case, as you and I know.
Absolutely. Right. So we just wanted to share this humanizing story about Leon because a lot of people don't get to see how it affects their kids and how it affects their family and how it can actually cause generational situations where even his son ended up going to prison because he didn't have that role model there to keep him guided and stuff. Is there any closing thing that you want to say?
I just want to say I need people to pay attention to what's going on around them and outside of their personal lives. Get involved with things that you hear on the news. Get involved with stories that you do know about. A lot of our people are innocent. It may fit what we do. We got people that are out here doing things that ain't right. but we got people who actually have done things that ain't right but ain't done the crime. So we just need to get more involved with what's around us and speak up on it. So, yeah.
Well, I thank you. Let me get a hug from you.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right.